Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Jess Marshall podcast. I am your dude, Jess Marshall, and today I've got the distinct honor of having on TJ Kosen with Sherlock Holmes / houses. Get it? Clever. This guy's an awesome entrepreneur. He's a real estate guru. We're going to talk about how he's not those things and why. We're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk about how you got to go right at adversity and how maybe your adversity's irrelevant, but you got to go right at the obstacle if it's coming at you. Tune in, dial in. Hope you like it. Leave a comment below. We'll talk to you after. Yeah, man. So where are you from?
I was born in San Diego, actually. My wife and I moved out to Dallas, I guess 7 years ago now, and we love it out here.
Yeah?
Yeah, I grew up surfing, doing the whole beach thing,
Really?
and then decided, I wanted to move to Dallas because I think the weather's nicer, and I'd rather just go somewhere that really facilitates that.
Just out of the blue, Dallas, or looking at some other targets
we looked
too?
at some other spots.
Like where?
Where else did we look? I think we looked at Raleigh, or one of the places in one of those Carolinas. I don't even know where they are. We looked at Boston for a minute, but we figured that would have a lot of inconveniences of San Diego in terms of inconveniences in terms of expense, difficulty to do business.
Right.
It'd be kind of a fun thing, but I don't think it'd be a permanent thing.
Yeah.
And then we kept seeing articles of Dallas, North Dallas, Plano, just popping up and reading them, great place to be. And this again, remember, 7 years ago from San Diego. So I'm not saying we're setting trends or anything.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, we kind of beat a little bit of the rush, I guess.
When you were you in real estate there before you came here?
Yeah. I've actually been in real estate since 2006.
Okay.
So I've seen all the fun ups and downs in the market. Went back to San Diego about 2011, I think, and did real estate there for a couple of years. And then we got married. We did all the stuff that we shouldn't do, the first year you're married. Got married, started a new business in Dallas, moved to a new city, state, everything, and had a catastrophic accident all in the first year of marriage. So that was a fun year. 2014, I think.
Put the relationship to the test right from the start.
Well,
because there's no better way.
Everyone says till in sickness and health and death do you part and all that crap, and then they don't really mean it when they get older or whatever. So we absolutely tested that year one. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
It's a lot of fun looking back on.
Yeah, right. Biggest differences from living out there to living here. I mean,
obviously there's the weather difference, which is big. It doesn't get 8 inches of snow in San Diego, but it doesn't get that too often in Dallas.
Yeah.
There's no beach here, so the surfing is tough. I need to buy a boat. I need to buy like a surf wakeboard boat or something, I think, but not a cheap one, a really nice one. The culture actually is remarkably similar. So Southern California, San Diego, is kind of a little pocket of sensibleness in California. People there know how to get their job done, get their business done, but still know how to kind of have the beach vibe and hang out. And I think Dallas, is also really kind of similar to that in some respects, where Dallas is, we know how to get our work done, get our job done, but it's a really cultural, really social kind of atmosphere. The biggest difference, I think, is you say, hey, I'm going to go visit San Diego for a while, 5 days or whatever. What should I do? And you get a list of 20 things. Someone says, hey, I'm going to come and visit in Dallas. What should I do as a tourist? It's shit, I don't know. There's stuff to do.
Grassy knoll.
I guess you can only see it once or twice, right?
Eat some fajitas, yeah.
So I like to think that Dallas is a fantastic place to live. It's an amazing place to live, lifestyle-wise, expense-wise. I think tons of stuff to do if you live here. But I think to visit, it's kind of maybe not as interesting.
Sure. What got you into real estate from the jump?
Oh, man. I was so dumb and naive that it was the only thing that made any sense at the time. No, it seemed like a fun idea. Read a bunch of the books, all the books that I guess are popular now. 10 years later, were popular, 16 years ago.
What, like Rich Dad?
Yeah, all that stuff. Read that. Read the Trump books. Read the all the fun things. Who put granite on it? It changes the entire dynamic of the kitchen. Well, shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, all this profound stuff. Price points were definitely different. And then so I guess there's kind of two questions. One, what got me into real estate? And two, why would I pick somewhere not Southern California to do real estate? So I'd graduated college, started doing loans for a little while. So I kind of saw the subprime thing, like what was available in the lending industry at the time was just kind of insane. Didn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, you know what? This is going to pop. It's kind of weird. And when it pops, it's going to hit Southern California in a big way. But I really like real estate. I want to do more with it. So let's start looking at other markets. So this is 2006, I guess. Kind of, fall 2005, spring 2006, I was doing loans. So we looked at different markets, looked at Dallas, looked at, I think it's the only one in Dallas, in Texas we really looked at Louisiana because it was kind of after Katrina. So I was like, might be some easy pickings down there, might be kind of fun. And for some reason, lack of judgment, I think, settled on Memphis, Tennessee. And my first deal was 112 units of distressed apartments in Memphis in what's a relatively stable submarket in, it's called Whitehaven. It's south of downtown, kind of west of the airport, for anyone that's familiar with Memphis. Anyway, and we liked it for a lot of reasons. We liked it because fundamentally the residential market there was strong. So it was kind of a $80,000 to $100,000 house market. So that seems pretty solid. There was not a lot of distressed inventory on the market at the time, so it seemed like a safe bet. And then when we looked at other properties, like kind of comps to ones that we bought, there'd been not like an excessive amount, but enough turnover recently where it looked like it was like the residential apartment market was kind of on the upswing. So we thought, that'd be a great opportunity to go in there, capitalize on it, and make it happen. So it was a fun trip, a fun experience for a 24, 25-year-old kid as his first deal.
Yeah, that's a big first deal.
Yeah, probably not the most sensible one.
Yeah.
Between that and my second deal, I think we lost about $3.5 to $4 million. I'm not sure exactly the final number.
Gloria
but
Dios.
It was a fun experience.
Yeah, man, and that didn't just wash you out of it. The losses.
Well, it hurt. It was painful, but I guess when you go through something like that, you got a choice. And again, it wasn't necessarily because they were bad deals, although the second one I think was not a great deal. It was because a lot of folks didn't understand the market dynamics of kind of commercial properties at the time, combined with the crash, combined with just a bunch of factors. So it wasn't really a screw up on our part quite so much, although there were a lot of things that we could have done better. It was definitely just a culmination of a lot of factors that happened at the same time. How do you bounce back? It's kind of like learning how to walk again. You either make a choice that you want to learn from the experience and like kind of justify and validate going through something like that in your mind, or you want to hang out in your wheelchair and not go anywhere ever again. Be like, you know what? Maybe I'm 28, 29, 30. Maybe I should get a real job and be happy making an average salary and having an average life. And for some reason, that just didn't appeal to me very much. So decided not to go that direction.
Yeah. Yeah, bouncing back from a business loss is definitely something that a lot of us have done and that a lot of us have to do often. I mean, things don't go our way all the time. I mean, there's stuff going wrong right now outside that we have no control over that's causing massive damage.
Absolutely. You're probably the same as me. We have a bunch of houses out there. I'm not going to drive to all of them right now when it's 32 degrees outside and the ice on the road. So I might have one busted pipe. I know I have one because one of our tenants called us. We might have 30 busted pipes. Who knows? So we'll find out on Monday.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of just putting your head down and squaring your shoulders up and just getting after it. And while many of us who are in business or who fancy ourselves as entrepreneurs, I don't know, do you fancy yourself as an entrepreneur?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah?
No.
Right on.
I think at 24, I think I did.
Yeah?
So,
did you put that on your byline somewhere?
Did we even have?
I don't know.
When was Facebook invented?
I fucking do not know.
Ryan, when was Facebook invented? You might know this better than we do.
Yeah, buddy.
2003-ish.
2003? I think I had a .edu for my first
there you go.
email address on Facebook,
mine.
right?
Yeah.
I think I joined in 2010. Shit. No, so Facebook wasn't around in 2006. MySpace was.
Was it?
Yeah, you had that top 8.
Yeah.
Was it top 8?
I didn't really do that.
I don't know.
I didn't really do Facebook when it started. I was just like, what is all this? I'm not into it.
I don't think I really understood the power of social media probably until maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And in terms of business building, in terms of brand building. And, maybe a little bit before some other folks figured it out, but definitely kind of the same time that a lot of folks are now starting to push the guru thing, starting to push the education model, and instead of actually doing the real work. So I think there's a good value to doing the real work, but you got to have a good balance of, online presence needs to mimic what's going on in real life.
Yeah, for sure. And where I was going with that before I asked you if you were an entrepreneur.
Oh, I forgot that's what the question was.
The fact that we've all had to bounce back from work trouble, business trouble is one thing, but learning to walk again's a son of a bitch. Tell us about that action.
Yeah, that was fun. Well, the entrepreneur question, if I could actually answer it, is I think entrepreneurs change a business environment in a drastic way, and you tend to think of the big ones. You think of Zuckerberg. Okay, I mean he's kind of a dick, but he changed the world. The same thing with Musk. Those guys, they change things in a big way. And
Cuban to a lesser degree.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think a lot of small business owners think they're entrepreneurs when they're just really good small business owners. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think it's necessarily a bad title. I just think it's a kind of a misnomer, because I really think that our business it's not about creating a new wheel. We have patterns to follow in the real estate investing model. It's about making the wheel roll just a little bit better, maybe getting a competitive edge on our wheel where it's better than someone else's wheel. But I don't think we're in the position to really drastically change the market. We're in the position to capitalize on the market better than other people, because we're going to be better at our marketing, better at our acquisitions, better at our dispositions, better at our the whole list. So that's where I think maybe there's an entrepreneurial spirit to that, absolutely. But I don't know if it's so much an entrepreneur as just a really good small business owner.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can put the hate comments down below. I just think it's an interesting perspective.
Yeah, I guess it just all comes down to how an individual sees themselves. Entrepreneurs are as much innovator as they are an artist as they are business person, in my opinion. Now,
yeah, I think
if
so,
you
too.
had billions of dollars, I'm sure you could figure out how to possibly reinvent the wheel to a degree when it comes to real estate investing, but maybe you do. I do not have billions of dollars.
Well,
so.
I don't have billions now. That wasn't the question, though. For us, like our strategy on the single-family flipping part of the business is a repeatable process. So I think that's really where we try to focus on our business, because if you're buying and selling houses, you're never going to repeat the product. You try as much as you can. You buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, that's a repeatable product, kind of, but it's always going to have its own unique set of structural issues. But if you repeat the process in terms of the acquisition, in terms of the renovation, in terms of even the product selection, then I think it becomes a lot easier to systematize the business and really leverage the business up. For too long, I think we didn't expand the real estate business as much as we should have, because I had a limiting mindset, thinking that, we can't really repeat the product, so it's going to be hard to figure out how to really leverage this, until something switched from a conversation from actually the guy that's working operations for me now, where he said, well, it's not about the product, it's about the process. Now, he's a process guy, so he understands that better than I do. But that really switched something in my mindset, saying, oh, that's right. So we repeat the process, and then the product is relatively irrelevant, because the product is just another house. And another house has separate issues, but we know all the potential issues, so we just manage those as they come up.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the hardest thing about scaling is finding those repeatable systems and processes that you can then add to. So I don't know if I would necessarily say that your mindset about that was limiting. I think that you're probably a realist.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a systems guy in there who says, well, no. I mean, he sounds like maybe an operations guy who's a bit of an optimist, those guys are hard to find. But I don't know.
I like Ryan's back there laughing.
Yeah, apparently not.
Well, no, he absolutely is. He just wouldn't classify himself that way. No, he's a great guy. But isn't that the difference between taking something that's kind of a solopreneur mindset to, okay, let's take it another step and build a business? It was almost easier for me in Memphis when we had at the peak 210 units, maybe 8 maintenance guys, 2 property managers, 2 leasing agents, or 3 leasing, I don't fucking know. and all that stuff, it was almost easier to have the inherent built-in systems and processes because you're running a relatively good-sized thing versus, oh, shoot, I can make a whole bunch of money if I just do this one house, or maybe I do 2 houses at once. So then I have the time to afford to drop off buckets of paint or to pick out new tile for the new kitchen. So that's where it's more limiting. Versus, okay, let's take that and let's figure out how to systematize a real estate business as opposed to an apartment complex business. Completely different, same set of skills, but completely different mindset to make it actually operate.
Yeah, no doubt. And when you are trying to make that switch from solo to team, what were your growing pains like there? Because I know I've had mine as I've built my team, brought people on, let people go, figure people out, learn people's patterns. And for the longest time, I was completely anti. I was like, I'm going to keep this small. I'm going to do my own deal.
100%.
Let's just do this. I do not want to deal with HR issues. I don't want to manage personalities. But then you just kind of, at least I did, I just hit this point of diminishing returns where I was like, I can't take this any further myself.
No.
So I either have to bite the bullet and change my mindset about having people work with me, or I'm just going to stay in this rut.
For me, fundamentally, I got bored. Like, I got bored. I got bored talking to sellers. I got bored looking at projects. I didn't like any of it anymore. It wasn't thrilling. It wasn't interesting. Like, okay, we're going to go walk through a house. It's going to smell bad. It's going to look bad. The seller's going to have a story. And it's nothing against the seller. The seller is in a position because of whatever circumstance it might be. So they're probably a pretty good person. I never have any judgment against any of that. But it's just, if you...
That's not what you said before we started the podcast.
Well, I don't know which seller.
I'm just fucking
No,
with
but
you.
but anyway, so it's never about that. It's just it gets so repetitive.
Definitely.
The day-to-day aspect gets repetitive. It's like, man, this is boring. I'm not actually impacting on any kind of like decent sized scale.
Sure.
I'm making a damn good living. I'm providing for my family, and I'm enjoying my time that I'm not working. But I'm not enjoying my time that I am working. Well, what's the next challenge? The next challenge for me, anyway, was, well, let's figure out how to make a bigger impact on more people by expanding the business and bringing more people on and helping actually facilitate building more people up. It's almost, in construction or in apartments, it's almost easy. Like when we built our construction company after my back accident, it's easy. You sell another job, you need to lay more tile, you hire another tile guy. That's relatively straightforward. Are you helping the tile guy out? Yeah, absolutely. You're helping yourself out and you're helping the homeowner out. But it's a little different mindset when you're doing a transactional real estate business where you're saying, well, okay, what's the actual critical path for building this to the next step? The answer is, I'm not sure, and I don't know how to figure it out. So let's figure it out. And that's a fun challenge, right?
Yeah. The roll with the punches just day to day of, okay, there's going to be a point where maybe our sales or our acquisitions overwhelm our operations, or our personnel don't match up and operations has to catch up there.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is, those are all growing pains. And unless you are someone who is just like, yeah, I'm content with the status quo, which you've already established you're not, not in for an average life. I'm not either. That sounds like a drag. I may as well check out now if that's what it's going to be about. I'm at least going to go for it.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't happen, okay, but I went for it.
I think everyone in the entrepreneur-small business space, keep coming back to those words.
Yeah.
I think they are really looking for impact. So a lot of folks out there want to go change the world as a goal. And that's, I want to go change stuff. Well, what do you want to change? I don't know. I just want to change stuff. I don't really care about that. I'm more interested in, let's make an impact. Let's impact people's lives. Let's give them the tools and the opportunities to make their lives better. And as a consequence of that, obviously our life gets better too, because we put them in places in our business that facilitate our business. But at the same time, we give them an opportunity to really better their lives in a big way. That's what really sets us small business owners apart from, honestly, a lot of people in the population. Is just that mindset change.
No doubt. I mean, I know you and I kind of see the world in some similar ways. I don't think that you can sit back and tell everyone, hey, opportunity and success are just on the other side of hard work. but then just sit back in your ivory tower or you're in your beautiful mansion and they're there. I'm so sorry that your life's not. Making a change is very, very pragmatic and very tangible when you do run small businesses, because you go find people who I give some people a couple second chances, but usually the people who come on board are raring to go, all in, ready to roll, and then they just take off because they take all the coaching and they just run with it.
It's amazing, really.
And that's a big way to make a change.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
And if you want to go far, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, I guess.
Absolutely.
It's really amazing. Like, the key to building a business is to put the right people in the right places. That sounds so silly, but I'll give you a great example. My wife and I we own our real estate business. So half the people that have never worked with their spouse out there are like, oh my God, that must be amazing. How do you do it? They don't know what they're talking about. And the other half is out there going like, oh my God, I couldn't stand working with my wife. How do you do it? They're kind of right. They're not exactly right. What we do is we separate responsibilities. Same as you have a CEO, a COO, and whatever the third one is.
CFO.
Yeah, that guy.
The money guy.
Yeah, the money guy.
Dog. Yeah.
Anyway, but you really separate responsibilities. So just think of such a simple, straightforward thing. My wife is in charge of listing flips, listing wholesales when the product is ready. She's in charge of negotiating the sales. So she basically is the dispositions department because we close on almost all of our deals. She is the disposition department for the on-market side, not the necessarily wholesale side or whatever. And she is in charge right now of transaction coordination. So does that mean that she doesn't want to go out and see tile? Well, yeah, actually it does, because she doesn't care what the tile looks like any more than I do at this point. Versus the operations guy, he's in charge of, okay, let's get the list organized, let's get stuff figured out, let's get the marketing origination tools like optimized and humming, and, well, let's get deals out of that. The acquisitions guys get the contract. That's it. Get the contract. Once you get the contract, then we'll figure it out, at least, day one, and then they obviously figure out the processes as they go. So it's really about having that structured organization that really makes it work well. Bring it back to construction. You're going to hire the roofer to install the roof. The roofing guys, they do it all day long. You're going to hire the tile guy. I'm sure you can probably sling some shingles.
Yeah.
I did it. And in San Diego, you kind of have to. But I don't want to do it because I'm not that good at it.
Right.
Same as with tile. Man, my tile work is horrible. The last tile work I did was my backsplash in my kitchen, and I absolutely hate it because I see it every day.
Yeah, I've been in that same boat in other homes as well. Yeah, you could do it, but it's not your forte. You don't want to do it. You're not good at it, which means it's probably not going to end up real well. And it's not your calling or your core competency.
And really realizing, so that's easy with tile, right? Because if you suck at tile, you see the result real quick. Like, oh man, that looks not good. Maybe take it in the higher, like, it's not higher. It's just the more, like, kind of on the mental side, the outcome is, the harder it is to see an actual change in the results. So it's a big step then to hire for acquisitions someone else. You're going to send someone else out on a lead that just costs you hundreds of dollars to get to go close a deal that you're hopefully going to make. If your average flip profit is whatever it is, you're going to make potentially a lot of money on. Now I'm going to send some guy out there to go negotiate that when I should be the one negotiating it. He's going to screw it up. Of course he's going to screw it up. There's no way he can talk to the seller better than me. No, that's a complete lie. We tell ourselves these lies all the time. So the next lie is, well, the acquisitions guy, why doesn't he just do it himself? Because he doesn't know how to get the lead. Maybe he does, but maybe his core competency isn't on the marketing, on the origination. Maybe his core competency is actually talking to people. So when you take yourself one step back and realize that dude's really good at this binary task, and it's nothing against them being not good at other stuff, but they're really, really good at this task, let them do it. Let them give them the tools to really optimize that in their life. And taking that step is huge, because now you're not dropping off paint and running acquisitions and running estimates for other people and raising money and playing golf and trying to raise your kids and all this other shit. You're really focusing on, man, I'm really good at running all that stuff, and now I got to pay these folks, but that's okay because these folks are helping me make more money also.
For sure. Do you think that the time that you decided to start to scale everything, build a team, build the business up, was the right time. And if you would have tried to do that earlier, before having done everything yourself over and over, and so you know your systems and processes front ways to back and back ways to front. If you had tried to build a team before you had all that experience, do you think it would have gone as well?
It goes back to mindset, doesn't it?
Sure.
Because the market opportunity is absolutely there, and it's there in every market in some way or another. The mindset is different. The mindset is something I don't really understand exactly, like how you put yourself mindset-wise in the right place to take advantage of the next step, because you got to overcome a lot of mental hurdles to kind of figure that out. Do I even want to scale? Am I good enough to help someone else build their aspect of this business? Am I strong enough as a business leader to go put the needs of the business ahead of my own needs? In terms of, okay, now we have all these people working here. They rely on us for their income, basically. Am I a good enough person or a strong enough person to carry that? Or am I a humble enough person to facilitate their ability to raise themselves up? So all those things are, I think, every business owner and every entrepreneur really kind of grapple with in their mind. And the answer is, can you do it faster, quicker, and better? Yeah, absolutely. But until you have the right mindset at the right time, then the likelihood of actually being able to meet with success when you do that is, it's always easy to spend more money on trying to fix a problem. It's a lot harder to make sure that the money's getting spent well to actually build a solution.
Yeah. The challenges of being a leader are many. You know, you've already talked about, in a roundabout way, ego, right? The sales guy or the acquisitions guy can't talk to the customer, the client, the person who you're trying to get this sale from better than I can.
Right.
And when you're at the top, I guess, and you're the ultimate decision maker, the success it begins and ends with you and your mindset.
Yeah.
And a lot of times
I
I
think
think mindset is a result of life experiences, or at least it can be. You go through some tough stuff, you make it out the other side. Well, it didn't kill me. And you can go from there. Maybe you can take that and run with it.
If you want to segue into that. No, absolutely. I think that's the biggest problem about, safe places or safe spaces and this anti-pain mentality that we have.
This is a safe space.
This is a safe space in here. I feel safe.
Do you feel loved, though?
Let's think of it this way. It's an idea that I kind of like, and my wife pointed out to me probably almost before we were married, probably 7 or 8 or 9 years ago, is I don't value happiness. So this is really, it's interesting, because I think a lot of people, I want to be happy in life. Well, what does that mean? You have no idea what that means. I'm in my safe space because it makes me happy. Because these people think that happiness is an absence of pain. And I think that's a limiting way to look at the world. I don't value happiness in terms of what I mean by that is I don't think that happiness is the goal. I think happiness is a consequence of actually accomplishing things in life that are valuable to you. And that makes you happy, but it also makes you feel more fulfilled. So if you're stuck in a safe space and a victim mentality, then I think it's really easy you're not going to be happy, for one. If you want to be happy, go just drink mushroom tea all the time. You'll be happy, but you won't accomplish anything. You won't be fulfilled in your life. So for me anyhow, my happiness or my fulfillment really comes from accomplishing things in life that I think are worthwhile pursuits. So that's kind of a roundabout way, I think, of answering your question.
Yeah. You ever find that the people whose main goal in life is happiness are the ones who are always unhappy and never accomplish anything?
They seem to be.
And
no judgment against them. I just think their mindset is their own, and if they want to live that life, that's fine with me. It has no impact on my life.
Totally agree. When you go through something hard, when you do something hard, when you accomplish something that was a challenge, there's a way different feeling on the other side of that than when you just channel surf on the couch. There's just,
absolutely.
It's not even, it's addicting. Then when you start seeking that out, at least I do.
Yeah.
Where's I got to find something hard to do because getting on the other side of that feels like nothing I've ever felt before. And yeah, there's going to be some pain, but at a certain point, I guess maybe there's something a little wrong there. I mean, I'm a rugby guy, so there is something wrong up there, but bring it on. I'm like, let's go.
I think so. And the other issue that I think people in our space tend to have is creating problems that don't necessarily need a solution right away. So what I mean by that is don't glorify the struggle necessarily. I don't go out and seek a problem or a challenge for the sake of seeking. Well, maybe I want to go bike ride in the snow or something like that. That's kind of fun. But like in business, don't go out and seek solutions to problems that you're making up in your head. Figure out, okay, what's the actual structural issue that if I overcome will take my business to the next level, as opposed to just going out and, I don't know, shit talking your business, shit talking something, whatever, as a struggle that, oh, I have to go overcome this. Don't glorify the work, glorify the outcome. So if you have that mindset shift, then you go from dropping off paint buckets at 10 o'clock in the evening to planning ahead so that you don't have to. So that's where you take it. That's where you can start going from the solopreneur to the small business owner to maybe an entrepreneur is an actual thing. Yeah. But that's a step beyond, I think.
Are you busier now than when you were doing everything yourself?
Different. Absolutely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably more now. I spend a lot more money now, but we also bring a lot more in because of it. So it's different. It's the farther away from the tangible result that you take yourself, I think the more difficult it is to actually see direct consequences of your actions. So again, installing tile, if the tile's in, it's good. Training an acquisitions guy, if he screws it up, well, that reflects poorly on you and he has to go, but not knowing when he screws it up is the hard part. Running all the aspects of the operations, I don't really know. You go in, you answer the phone, you talk to people for 8 hours a day. You go home, you're like, what the hell did I accomplish? You go in the next day and you ask your operations guy, hey, what did we do yesterday? He says, oh, we got 2 contracts. Oh, shit, that's cool. I didn't know that. Well, why didn't you tell me? Well, you were busy. You were on the phone. That's rewarding more than seeing a rehab job come together.
Sure.
I don't even like houses.
Yeah. I feel like that's a common thread amongst a lot of us who do this. After a certain point, it just is what it is. When you're recruiting people, you're high level people. You're operations guy or your CFO or your sales guys, your acquisitions guys. That's what your sales guys are, your acquisitions guys, right?
Yeah, basically.
They're going and getting the contract.
Absolutely.
Which is what ultimately makes you the money once you put the rehabbed house up on the market. What are you looking for there? Are there red flags that you're like, nope, been down that road, I'm moving on to the next guy? Or are you a hey, let's sit down for coffee, I'm going to figure you out in 10 minutes, and if I feel like I vibe with you, I'm hiring you no matter what your resume says? What's your process like there?
So the best maintenance guy I ever hired in 2007 probably, years ago. And I guess I've kind of had this mindset all along, and maybe you burn through more people that are bad fits by having it, but when you get people that stick, they stick. My best maintenance guy in 2007, second best actually, in fairness, he came in, he told me the story. He'd gotten out of jail, he'd killed someone. It was a misunderstanding. It sounded like he was maybe not in the wrong or maybe partially in the wrong, and he wanted to go do maintenance stuff. And I said, well, are you dangerous? And he said, no. I said, all right, well, go install all these water heaters, all like it was an 8-plex or something like that. Go install 4 water heaters today. If they look good by the end of the day, you can come back tomorrow. If they don't look good by the end of the day, then you probably don't have to come back tomorrow. So, I don't know, about 2:33 rolls around. I walk down there, take a look at them. Like, holy shit, they all look really good. And I ask him, like, how'd you do that so fast? This guy can't do it that fast. I point at some other guy that works for me. And he says, well, you told me to do it, so I did. And that's different than an acquisitions guy. But it's really, there's a lot of maybe red flags that would pop up on a personality test for someone like that versus, go show me the result. If you can make it happen, make it happen. And I don't mean hire fast and fire slow. I think that's a very dangerous way to build your business. But I think too many people in our space try to rely on a predictive index test or a DISC test or a personality test or a Jordan Peterson test or something like that as the perfect fit for the right person for the right all this other crap. Do they fit in the company culture? Yes, no? Okay. Are they good at what you want them for? Yes, no. If no, then are they good at a different position? Okay, maybe. Do they want that position? Yes, no. Okay, yes. Well, let's give it a shot. Now, maybe take a personality test as like an overlay and say, you for a predictive way to think that there might be a level of success. But I mean, based on personality test, I wouldn't hire me. I'm a complete asshole. But I'd probably be pretty good at something that someone was hiring me for if I wanted to do it. So that's, it's a little squishy. So answering your question, I guess, do you fit in the company culture is first and foremost. If no one likes you, maybe you're the best person out there, but if you were, people would probably like you. And are you good at your job? And if those two answers are yes, then let's give it a shot. And let's go through a big process to figure out if those two answers are yes on the front end. So don't just throw them in and, hope that they make it.
That process on the front end, you're talking about training them, getting them rolling.
Yeah, all the way from the interview process. We'll sit down and talk for 45 minutes. And yeah, I mean, in 10, 15 minutes, you'll probably make a decision pretty quick, but you don't necessarily know if someone's good until they actually try to do the job.
Right. No doubt about it. What does it take, in your opinion, to be good at sales? We talked about how awesome Ryan is at sales before we came on the air.
Yeah, he's stellar. He's got you and me both here.
Yeah. I mean, I am the hardest guy to close on the planet. What's it take? Everybody's got different opinions about that. Being good at sales.
Sell me this water bottle. Isn't that one of the tricks or whatever? This pen?
Right.
Is that a Grant Cardone thing?
Or Belfort.
Belfort.
Wolf of Wall Street, yeah.
Coffees for closers. Mm-hmm. Like all this hard-ass stuff. I think...
Glengarry Glen Ross, bro.
I think fitting in a company's sales culture is important. I think competitiveness is important, but teamwork is also important. I don't think those two are necessarily opposed to each other. I think that competitive nature helps build the team as stronger overall. And I'm not necessarily brilliant at building a sales team, that's for sure. What makes a good salesperson good is maybe different from what makes them fit in well with a team. That's a really good question.
Yeah, it's a weird one, right? Like, I ask a lot of people that just because the different viewpoints I find to be very revelatory, and that they make me think about what I think makes a good salesperson, because I'm always recruiting sales guys, trying to find good sales guys. And it's a process, man. I mean, some of the seemingly best on paper sales guys can't get anything closed.
That's exactly what I was talking about you can fit all the DISC profile tests out there, but if you're just lack the ambition or the drive or the nature to actually push for the close, then you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
On the other side, if you lack the nurturing follow-up that's necessary to close some people, then you're not going to close those too. And what makes one person a good salesman in some respects, being a complete pursuing jackhammer to get the contract or whatever it is, might make someone else that's more of a nurturing kind of salesman follow-up not see the value of the other salesperson. So probably as a leader, you need to see, okay, what kind of salesperson is this person likely to be? Are they going to be a hunter or a gatherer, really? Are they going to go out and what that means, are they going to go out and just kill the contract, get it, one close and done? Or are they going to realize, shoot, if they don't get the one close and done, are they going to have the personality to follow up and follow up and follow up? And part of that falls back on us as the leader of the company to make sure that they have the tools to follow up. But it also is on them to make sure that they have, the mindset to realize that, hey, I gotta chase this down the road. I gotta go for it.
Do you see yourself as the leader of your company as more of a coach than anything? Because you're, anybody needs help on anything, any aspect of your business, you've faced whatever that scenario is, you faced it down. There's probably not much that you see for the first time now. So if somebody needs help with the situation, you go, well, yeah, no problem. Last time this worked, this didn't. Let's try this.
Yeah, that's always a balancing act, isn't it? Don't micromanage, but make sure that you provide enough guidance to guarantee a relative certainty of their success. So it doesn't mean that let me get on that sales call and close that for you right now. I think that is kind of hampering the sales guy. Versus, hey, do you need me to? Here's a great example. So we brought in a new sales guy in November. He's doing a texting campaign. He's got some real estate experience. Good, smart guy, smart kid. Anyway, he lands this thing in, and we just closed on it, so I can finally talk about it. He lands a seller in Longview, which is about 2 hours east of here. We don't do it. This first deal in Longview we've ever done. And he lands this little shitty house. Seller can't go below 45K. I'm like, shit, whatever. Okay. But the seller talks to him, is like, hey, I also have this self-storage complex over here. What do you think you might be interested in it? It's in cash. I want to get rid of it. So he pursues it and goes back and forth for about a week and a half. Obviously, I'm not talking to the seller because I really believe if you're the primary lead on a contact, you don't want to muddle that up with a bunch of other crap unless you really have to. So I talked to the seller twice just to answer some process questions and some title questions for him. And I think I sent one email to the seller. But they'd been going back and forth for like a week and a half. And I said, all right, it looks to me like we're going to have to buy this crappy house that we're overpaying for in order to get this self-storage facility. Crappy house is 45K. It's maybe worth like 90. It might be worth like 60 as is. I don't know what it's worth. I don't really care. But the self-storage facility is 80 units, and he wants 160K for it. And the only thing it looks like it's worth probably about 350 to 380, like stabilized and fixed up. Like, damn, that's a good deal. So some people would be like, well, let me get on that and close that right now. That's where their ego takes over. My ego is more, well, let's facilitate what's happening here, and let's give them the tools to be successful, because that's going to build the team better, and it's actually going to have a higher chance of success to get the immediate deal also. So they've been going back and forth. It's a Tuesday. My guilty pleasure is golf, so I have a tee time at 2 p.m. with a buddy of mine. Golf takes about 3.5 hours. If you're going to add drinking, it takes a little bit longer than that. So they're talking, and I said, hey, what's going on with that Longview, those 2 deals in Longview or whatever? Says, well, I think he's ready to go. Says, well, why haven't you contracted it yet? Says, well, they haven't seen it yet. Says, well, is he actually ready to go? Like, yeah, I talked to him yesterday. He wants to get it done. Says, all right, well, what are you doing this afternoon? Says, I don't know, sending more like, doing more marketing stuff or whatever. Says, well, why don't you go out to Longview? If he's ready to go, lock this shit up, get it under contract, and come on back. Says, oh, I can do that? Says, well, do you need me to go with you and make sure that you do it? It's like, no, I got it. I'm like, are you sure you got it? No, it's a done deal, man. He just needs to sign it. Well, if it's a done deal, why isn't it done? All right. So I said, you need me to go? No. All right, go get it. So he went and got it, and I played golf. Yeah. Because, with a lender friend of mine, so it's not just like fucking off time. I was like, I have this appointment. I can perfectly willing to break it and go help you close the deal if you need my help. But if I've given you the tools to be successful along the way, why am I then going to step on your toes and go out there and get in the way of stuff? Are we probably going to get it anyway? Yeah. But do I need to? No. I think a big part of being a leader is knowing when to take a step back and be like, they got this. That reflects better on me than if I go out there and take it from them and get it, even if I pay them the same amount.
How do you know when you're bordering on micromanaging, when you're bordering on, hovering? You just kind of feel it?
Yeah, well, I don't know. There's not really a straightforward answer to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you do it in your business? Because I think we all grapple with that.
So if you show me that you're going to chase everything down and I don't have to follow up with you and I don't have to ask you where we're at with stuff, I leave you alone.
That's
because
fair.
We're good to go. My one issue that I have is I have a really, really good memory.
Mm-hmm.
So
issue.
Yeah. Well,
it can be. It can be.
It is, because then I'm circling back on stuff all the time.
Uh-huh.
By the same token, it's my company.
Mm-hmm.
The success of it depends on me. Yeah, there's ego in that to a degree, but for real, if I just fuck off for half a year, there won't be a company left when I get
100%.
back.
I think we're all in that boat.
And if I hired a bunch of me's, they wouldn't work for me very long. So the people who work with me, and I don't ever say work for, I say work with. We are a team. We do this team thing. I'm, come from big team sports background. We're working together here, but not everybody's wired like you. Not everybody's wired like me. And there's extreme value to weaving all these different personalities together, especially if you're in sales, because taking down a target, the success of that comes from hitting it from many different angles and levels. And you're taking down Moby Dick, man. You're not just hitting that thing with one harpoon. You're coming at it from everywhere. So you got your general guy, you got your big time closer, you got your hammer, you got your mama bear, you got all those people working together. I find that to be better. You asked me, what do I do? How do I know I'm micromanaging? I think I just feel, if I feel some annoyance from that person, I'm pretty straight up, and I'll just be like, listen, I follow up with you about this all the time because I ran this lead with you, and I never hear back from you about it. And I know it's a closable lead, and I know it would put money in your pocket, and I know you tell me, hey, I'm not making enough money, so why aren't you house calling that person? Why am I following up with you when you told me when I hired you that you were going to go the extra mile? So that's where I'm at about it. But it's a really tough balancing act.
It absolutely is. And it really goes back to providing all the tools and then following up to make sure they're using the tools. But then knowing that we can take a step back and allow them to use the tools until they start screwing up. You always got to rein it in. So that's, I think a big key to success in really any business is putting the success of the business above your personal success. Yeah, the business makes more money. Okay, I make more money. Well, yeah, no shit, it's my business. But, okay, the business makes more money. Well, now we have more money we can spend on marketing. Now we have more money we can spend on increasing the team. Now we have more money we can spend on a different type of project. That's what's fun, and that's what's, I think, drives really the team dynamic forward, more than just like, okay, the company's making more money, I get to take off and like goof off for 6 months, like you said. No, if we do that, the company's gone.
Yeah.
We don't really have, I mean, at a certain level you can build it, but at this level we don't have a sellable company. We have a solopreneur - small business owner that needs to still work in it and on it at the same time. And the struggle is always to do more, but, not lose focus on what's already working.
Are you into Stoicism?
As a philosophy, I suppose so. Is like knowing a whole lot about it. I don't think I'm very educated in that. Why?
Well, you just strike me as you don't get too excited about stuff. You don't get too bummed out about stuff. You just try to kind of stay in the middle, which I think probably comes from some of the stuff you've been through in your life. I made a post one time because I like to observe people under duress. So when the rock is rolling down the hill at them, do they turn around and run away, or do they go right at it? And I think I said something about adversity. You said something like it's irrelevant or something like that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Why do you feel that way?
Probably a step out of the rock's way. Just go to the side, right? Fuck
that, dude. Let's go right at that gives you concussions. That's what good stuff's made out of.
But you can't sidestep stuff in business. If a rock's coming at you, you got to go towards it.
You can't really in your personal life either. If you want to have a successful marriage or a successful family life, you kind of, if there's something there, you got to clear it up, man. And that's not fun.
It's not fun, but it's like, okay, a stack of bills on the counter, does that give you anxiety, or does ticking them off the list give you a feeling of accomplishment? Now, if you're not making any money, it's going to give you anxiety. I mean, it's easy to be a baller when you're making money and everything's good. Where it's hard to be, and I don't particularly care for that term, but where it's hard to be a baller is where it takes actual adult responsibility and taking responsibility for when stuff goes wrong. I think there's, oh, we don't need to, well, I think there's a big movement in like kind of real estate stuff to, again, glorify the pain as opposed to talking about what the steps were to be successful. And I think there's a lot of folks that really talk a lot about like, well, I take responsibility for that. Well, yeah, you did, but you've taken responsibility for the same learning experience now the past 10 times. Where's the advancement? I mean, you don't really ask that because that's rude. And next thing you know, you get banned and you don't have any entertainment on Facebook. Right. So you don't talk about that. But where it separates where you're going to be long-term success versus short-term kind of flash-in-the-pan success is how do you actually act under duress? How do you act when it's 2011, when things are crashing around you, and when you have this asset you think is worth $4 million is only worth $2 million, and you have employees that still count on you for payroll and a bank knocking on your door saying like, hey, about this mortgage payment you haven't made on 112 units for a little while. What's going on with that? So then what do? You just throw your hands up and say, I'm screwed? No. You confront everything. You confront the tenants that aren't paying through your managers. You confront the lender, and I don't mean confront them in terms of an adversarial thing, but you take responsibility to say, hey, dude, and in this case, it was not that hard because the bank was screwed too. The bank actually went under. It wasn't our fault. We were just a contributing factor, I'm sure. But you confront the bank proactively and say, okay, well, we have an issue here. And it's a we thing because it's your money. My money's already gone. Our down payment's gone from lack of equity. So it's a we thing now. You become a partner with the lender as opposed to an adversarial relationship in a down market. And that takes a lot of responsibility that a lot of people don't really understand. A lot of people think it's easy. Well, my down payment's gone. Well, screw it. I'm just going to walk away and get out of here. Well, okay, now your credit's trashed forever. Now your name's trashed, or now your reputation's trashed. And I know a lot of people that are big into real estate right now that have that mindset. Well, screw it. That LLC's bankrupt. The lender can go screw themselves. That's not a healthy mindset.
No.
That's running away from the rock.
It's very bad karma, too.
Oh, 100%. And in terms of karma, it's just a broken mindset where it's one that lacks responsibility for the outcome of your actions. Now, there's all kinds of other stuff that come at you, man. There's market dynamics. There's interest rates going up, down, or sideways. There's lenders that, freeze lines of credit or freeze loans or whatever in a down market. Now, this is a great market. There's still people fucking it up. So I'm just using this as an extreme example of what I went through. So for us, run at the problem, fix the problem, figure out the easiest thing to fix that has the most impact and deal with it, and then go from there. Does it mean you're going to get it all done right now overnight? No, of course not. But you're going to come out a lot stronger and know how to actually build your business as a consequence of it.
When you said that after your injury, you started a construction company, and it sounds like you did what, like customer service contracting?
Oh, yeah, that was dumb.
It's
probably
a tough business.
It's probably the second dumbest business I got into
Really?
after the apartments in Memphis. So what? Yeah, the year I got married, we spent first wedding anniversary, had dinner in the hospital. It was for my wife's birthday. We went rock climbing. Fell, shattered my back, went down to Parkland Hospital, got 2 rods screwed into my spine, and woke up. They said, you'll probably never walk again. Now, they didn't tell me that because I wasn't exactly in the best mental space at the moment. They told my wife that. That was a good idea. Anyway, so that was kind of the narrative, right? Like, well, I can't feel shit, so you're probably not going to be able to use it again. Fortunately, an injury like that, there's a lot you can overcome, and there's a lot you can't overcome. The part that you can't overcome is whatever's actually a physical result, but the part that you can overcome is the mental aspect of it. So the way that I was able to overcome that, and again, there's injuries that you just can't overcome, obviously. You saw your arm off, it's not growing back. It doesn't work like that. You literally cut your spinal cord in half, you're not regaining feeling below the injury point. It's not physiologically possible. But if there's a chance of recovery, then the likelihood of recovery starts up here. 2 people can have the same exact experience, an acute experience, like an injury or like a market correction or
a trauma
or foreclosure, a trauma,
Yeah.
Sure, a bad real estate deal, and they can learn from it 2 different ways. They can say they learned from it because they went through it, or they can grow their business or grow their mindset or grow their life because they went through it. And the choice really is with them. So for me anyhow, the back accident, and we're getting to the construction thing because they're actually really related. The back accident, it was actually pretty easy. It wasn't, was it simple? It was simple. It wasn't easy the other way around. It was simple. I had a binary task. My task was, this is 10 weeks before New Year's when I snapped my back. Yeah, 10 weeks. My task is I'm walking out of the hospital by New Year's Eve. That's not possible, right? That's what therapists said. I had one that laughed at me when I told her I'd be playing tennis in a year. She says, no, that's not going to happen. That's not possible. I did it in 6 months. There's a lot of good people too. There's a lot of good therapists that are like, all right, if that's your goal, let's see how we can make that happen. That's what they do. They set you down your first day of therapy and say, you're in the hospital. You're going to be there another however long. What are your goals? Most people's goals are, well, I'm in a wheelchair now for the rest of my life. I want to be able to cook for myself. Screw that. My goal is I'm walking out of here before New Year's Eve. Before New Year's, before, next year, I'm walking out of here.
Did you win that tennis match?
Yeah, it was against my wife. She's not very good. But I wasn't too fast. But I wasn't too speedy. Anyway.
It was all about placement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can hit harder than her still.
There you go.
But if she puts it over here and I'm over here, man,
It's over.
I'm not getting over there. Anyway, with a construction company and with walking, you take a binary task, like I'm walking out of here and I'm focusing all my effort and all my attention on making this happen by a certain arbitrary and artificial deadline, New Year's Eve. Is that obtainable? Well, I don't know because we haven't put all of our effort into it yet. In the case of walking, yeah, it was attainable, apparently, because we did. If it was 2 weeks earlier, it wouldn't have been attainable because it just didn't work. Like my legs literally did not work. So what I learned from that experience was really two things. Was a lot of the superfluous stuff doesn't matter. The comments online or the small business things that people get caught up in that think is really important and really catastrophic really don't matter. If you're in a bad deal, you're in a bad deal. The other stuff doesn't matter so much. Figure out what you can do to get yourself out of that deal. And not walking it's a pretty bad deal. So what I learned was really just focus on what's the objective and don't let the superfluous stuff get there. People get bogged down in picking fights that they don't need to win. They're not going to win because it doesn't matter, but they don't need to win because it doesn't actually accomplish an objective that they're setting out to go for. What's our objective in real estate? Get the contract, make money on the house. What's the objective in walking out of the hospital? Walk out of the hospital. Like, that's easy. So I think therapy at the time was 6 days a week, like 4 hours a day. I think it was an hour and a half twice a day. So 3 hours a day. And then I talked to the head doctor in charge of rehab, said, hey, you got all this gym stuff out here. You got the gym open for like adaptive workout stuff twice a week for the community. Can I go in there and use that? And he's like, dude, you're already doing stuff for whatever that is, 3 hours a day. Like, yeah, but there's, a lot more hours in the day. I'm like, all right, sure, no problem. So he checked me off. So when everyone else is sitting in their room watching TV, I'm going back to the gym after having already been there for 3 hours, trying to figure out how to work stuff that isn't working. Because our goal is, let's get out of here. We can rest when we're out of here. So how do you apply that to business? It's pretty easy to apply in a 10-week span. A lot of people don't, but it's relatively easy. That's the same way I built the construction company. We hadn't worked for then at that time, almost probably 6 months by the time we got that going, because you get back to town, the projects you had going weren't going too well, a bunch of other stuff, whatever. So about 6 months of not making money from a 10-week accident. That sucks. Well, what are we going to do? Wasn't in the right mindset to go start doing houses again. Financially, we really should have. So we thought, well, let's build a construction company. Man, that's crazy, right? I can't walk. I can't lift tile. I can't balance on a roof, right? I used to walk 2 stories up between rafters, no problem. Now I don't even want to sit 2 stories up on rafters. Well, let's start a construction company. Why? Well, because I'm dumb and because I know how to do it. But two keys to success. So the result was, in our first year, we built stepping back. The result was, the result was in the first year, we built, I think $1.1 million worth of product in year one in business. That's obscene unless you're a roofing sales guy attached to an already established company. We weren't. We were basically general contractors doing work for investor clients in the space that we're in now. So we were doing multi-trade complex rehabs, tile, bathrooms, kitchen, plumbing, the whole everything. Same stuff that we do now on our flips. But we did that in year one. The way we did it was we focused on what mattered the most, and what mattered the most was sales, and then what mattered was building the company. And then the third thing that really mattered, that really applies to everything else, is putting the right people in the right places and letting them do their job. So hiring the right subs, paying them what's a fair rate to get things done, and then allowing them to go out there and do it while still supervising them. Now, obviously, there's a lot of, as well as I do, there's a lot of headache that comes with dealing with subcontractors. Yeah. So you got to stay on them more than sales guys in a lot of ways. But really taking the same focused mindset of learning how to walk and then applying that to the construction company was really the key to our success in that respect. And it did fairly well. taking that same mindset of focus on what you're good at and let's build things kind of the easy way, not, the easiest way. Not cutting corners, but focus on what's the hardest problem that's going to make the biggest impact first, and let's get that done, is how we built our real estate company. So it's really taking the mindset from learning how to walk. Very few people go through, I think, really big mindset changing experiences in their life. I think I was fortunate to go through those two, the big loss in Memphis and the back accident.
How old were you when each of those happened?
Memphis, we started in 24, I think, in 2006. Is that when I was 24?
24 years
Yeah,
old.
I think so. Most people are out drinking and partying at 24. I'm buying 200 units. And I think we sold the last building in 2011. And for 2004 to about 2009, it looked like it was going pretty good. At least it looked like it was kind of salvageable. A lot of market kind of changes happened at the time, kind of about then. Not just the crash, but like the sub-market changed a little bit. The tenant kind of dynamic changed. The inventory on market in the city changed a lot. So there's a lot of kind of factors that really contributed to what happened. I think we sold the last one in either fall of 2010 or spring of 2011. I don't remember. So that was then. Back accident, I think that was 6 years ago. So what am I, 39? Whatever 39 minus 6 is.
Yeah, 33.
33?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Right.
Those mindset shifts are somewhat rare, and to go through something that's not pleasant, but then find the silver lining is for sure. That's what people who overcome and who are successful do.
Yeah, that really circles back to what we were talking about just a minute ago about. Don't run from the rock. Don't run from the hardship.
The obstacle is the way.
Absolutely. You don't, if you're working out at the gym, you don't do it the easy way by not lifting heavy shit.
Or by skipping leg day.
Yeah, 100%, right?
Yeah.
I was doing legs day 6 days a week, sometimes twice a day.
I bet
That's how I walked again.
Yeah, for fuck's sake. I bet you were, man. I mean, would you say that before the back accident your mindset was lacking, or would you just say that the back accident added such a dimension to your mindset that once you got to the other side of it you were like, wow, going to change the trajectory of my life? Or did you not see that maybe then you do now?
Well, it was obvious it was going to change the trajectory because either I'm walking out of the hospital or I'm not. I'm getting pushed out in a wheelchair. And that's a big thing. I don't think going through something like that's interesting. I don't think going through something like a breaking your back and learning how to walk again, at the time you're only focused, again, you don't have time for introspection. You don't have time for reflection.
Philosophy.
Yeah, you really only have time for what's the task. The task is don't skip legs day.
Well, I think another way to ask that question is, were you an asshole before your back, or did the back injury turn you
Thank
into
you,
an
Ryan.
asshole?
Ryan, welcome to the podcast.
Cut?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. We don't make any cuts once we go. That's why when I was saying all of those insensitive comments before, Ryan started over, so he didn't ruin my brand.
Yeah, when you're building stuff, sometimes you don't have time to look at what you're building until you're done, do you?
No,
you don't really know what it looks
going,
like.
Man.
Yeah, it's next step. So that's there's not a clear-cut path on that.
When you're trying to walk again, you've got complete laser-focused tunnel vision, blinders on, 3
Nothing
hours
else
a day,
matters.
plus overtime. I'm putting it in. I don't care what you say. This is how it's going to be type stuff. Because I'm not living that average life.
Pretty much. Yeah. Looking back at it, absolutely. Going through it at the time, no, like I said, you don't see anything except for what you're going through at the time.
And you're probably still in somewhat of a daily fight or flight, too. Because you're in the hospital.
Oh,
you just broke your back.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a lot of mental stuff. There's a lot of uncertainty in the situation.
When did your wife tell you? They told me you're never walking again.
I think it was after I walked out of the hospital.
Yeah?
I think so. No, I was not easy to deal with. So to answer Ryan's question, no, I've always I guess I've always been a bit of a prick.
You're a dry personality, right?
Thanks.
Would we say that?
No, it's again, Yeah, it wasn't easy to deal with, and I'm never easy to deal with when I'm trying to build something.
You were just mad about the situation?
Yeah, pretty
or
much.
Was there...
Mad about the situation. It wasn't so much the situation. The situation was what it was. It was frustrated about not being able to be in control of what you're supposed to
Yeah,
be
sure.
pursuing as an outcome,
Right.
and the uncertainty. Yeah, I don't really know. It's a good question.
Yeah, man. I mean, Ryan says I talk about my injuries all the time. I've, had a few. I think you can choose to let the occurrence of situation define you, or you can put your own spin on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know. I don't know if you're on Instagram, but Tom Brady, not a big fan, but whatever. The dude's obviously the GOAT. There's no doubt.
The guy's brilliant. Let's
He
put it that way.
he put something up the other day. Maybe it was yesterday or the day before, and it says like, I kept all the receipts, and then it's this like, it's just this montage of everyone who said, "Oh, Brady's lost it. Brady's over the hill. Brady's this. Brady's that. Brady's that." And then I kept all the receipts. LFG. Let's fucking go. I mean, there's a couple ways to live your life. You can live your life where things come at you and you're reacting, and it's, oh, poor me, or oh, I'm so mad, or I'm getting intentional about shit. Even if there's stuff out of my control, I'm getting everything that's in my control, and I'm fucking getting it on.
Right.
Getting all those things in my control, I'm going to control the fuck out of.
And just like Tom Brady, I kind of am a fan. I thought he's like the Patriots. Apparently, I just like Tom Brady.
He's the real deal.
He's not letting his haters define him either. He's got the receipts as a mental like, hey, look at that asshole. Fuck that guy.
Oh,
he's
for
got
sure.
that, but he's not letting them define who he is or what his potential is. Anyone, Facebook has trolls and all this other stuff online that people get bogged down in comment battles. You're not making any progress. Someone else says something shitty. That doesn't have any actual control over your life. We all tell ourselves lies about why we are where we are because of our background, because our mommy and daddy loved us too much or not enough. Those are the big ones. Or not at all.
Right.
Because I was born too middle class, because I was born too poor, because I was born too white or too black or too Mexican or too whatever it is. We all tell ourselves these lies about why we are where we are as an excuse to not take responsibility in our own lives for where we are. Now, all this stuff contributes, right? Like
Sure.
your background contributes.
Yeah.
But where you are now as an adult is largely a consequence of the choices and the actions that you take as an individual. Oh my gosh, I'm fat. Why is that? Oh, it's my genetics. It's my thyroid. It's because you eat too much. And there's other contributing factors. Sure, the genetics and the thyroid or whatever play a contributing factor. But ultimately, you are where you are because the whole culmination of your entire life experiences puts you exactly where you are right now in your life. So where do you want to go from that? Do you want to build on that? If you're seeing success, then the answer probably is, yeah, let's see how to build on that. If you're seeing failure, it becomes a lot harder because you almost have to do a U-turn. You have to realize that there is an issue and that the issue stems with yourself, not with these outside contributing factors. So back to Tom Brady, back to the haters. The haters don't matter.
Right.
The haters can empower you if you want to. If you want to go get like revenge on them or something, I think that's not really a healthy mindset.
It's obviously been his, though.
It seems to work.
From the beginning. He's a bulletin board material guy.
But
so
he has the goal in mind. He has what's the higher
sure.
goal? The higher goal is the win. The opposing quarterback, the guy on the other team, right, Kansas City or whatever. I didn't watch
Patrick.
I didn't watch the game, but I knew they'd lose as soon as he ran those two. As soon as he ran those two things in the first quarter.
I unfortunately missed the entire game and haven't watched it on replay because
I saw him attack Brady a couple times ahead of time. It's like, oh, he's trying to make this personal. Brady's making it about the goal, and then I saw he did 2 runs where he should have made a pass. He's like,
Really?
he's trying to make it a him show. He's not trying to make it a team show.
Sure.
So he's going to lose. And
sure
I mean,
enough,
the result was catastrophic.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't even close. There's no doubt about it. Your mindset growing up that I don't want to live an average life. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to take personal responsibility. I'm going to go read it. Is that something you got from your upbringing, from your parents, from a football coach, from?
Yeah, I think I mean, we're all formed by our upbringing a lot of ways.
You bet.
I think I learned a lot of skills from my parents and my grandparents especially. I learned a lot of work ethic in terms of some of it healthy and some of it not so healthy. Some of it, oh, let's do this ourselves because we can, to save money or because it's more virtuous to do it ourselves than to hire it out kind of stuff. But I did learn to take the responsibility for the outcome, which was huge, and which a lot of people don't really understand. That was I think probably the biggest thing I learned from my parents was take responsibility for the outcome of the action.
A lot of your success through real estate, is that most of that just DIY stuff? You got in there and just started throwing hands and let's see what happens. I'm gonna read books and then I'm just gonna go try it. Because I mean, at a certain point, you can only learn so much in a classroom, man. You got to get out there and you got to get bloody.
I like making the same mistake at least twice to make sure that it was actually a mistake.
Right.
Versus just doing it the easy way. I don't want to do it the easy way right off the bat. That's too freaking easy.
Yeah. I got no interest in that.
No, you obviously have, friends and people in a different position than you are along the way that help you get to somewhere. A lot of times they have their motives of their own, and a lot of times their life experiences aren't going to apply to yours. But absolutely, there's tons of people in my life and in my background that have helped direct things in both ways, both positive and negatively. But that, again, stuff coming at you, how do you want to use it? Do you want to use it for your benefit or for your detriment? And a lot of that has definitely formed how things have happened. In terms of, how do I do this real estate stuff? I've never had a mentor that's like sitting down like, okay, let's figure out how to build this business and build the structure. Never really had that. I've had a lot of different kind of mentors, friends along the way that have really helped add pieces to it. But the job of putting all the pieces together and figuring out how to make it work, it's actually not that hard. The hard part is doing it. The hard part is the mindset up here to figure out if you want to do it. For me, anyhow.
For sure. What would you say the most difficult part of the single family flipping process is? The acquisition? I mean, you ain't making no money till you find that property, right? Isn't that
that's why I love.
Is that the hardest part? I don't know.
So when we built the construction company, it was basically we're selling to new investors a fairly kind of binary product where here's our flipping package. Here's what we're providing you in your house. And obviously we're going to fix issues as they come up, but here's your tile selections. You get like 3 of them. Here's your flooring selections. So we really made it a binary process because they were in love with the product, right? We were not in construction. We were in like with it. But in building our business, we're in love now with the process. So a lot of people think that they have a house. Oh, that's so cool. Now the hard work starts. Like, nah, dude, you got a house. Now your work's done. The house is what it is. You bought an asset. You bought something that's a static thing that has all the issues that you have. We'd have clients that would come up and say, well, we're over budget here because of such and such. Now we need to figure out where we can save money somewhere else. I don't know where you can save money. Are you going to put in a cheaper floor? Yeah, you can save some bucks, but then you're going to have a shittier floor. If you want to do that, that's fine. We'll do that. So when you close on the deal is yours. Again, it goes back to that personal responsibility thing. A lot of people are going to blame the big wholesalers. Oh, they sold me a bad deal.
Yeah.
Like, oh, did they spend your money too? Did you write the check? Did you close the thing on the bottom of the thing?
It's always the wholesaler's fault.
Yeah, and sometimes, they're sales guys. They have a job to do.
Yeah.
You need to understand that. You need to take responsibility for your part of that. So for us, once we bought the house, the deal's done. Like the house is what it is. Now we go in there and we deal with the house. The hardest part of doing any volume-based business is the volume. And it's not about the production. It's about the acquiring the capacity to actually do multiple deals and do some volume. So the hardest part is the lead origination, the marketing, the business side. Also, coincidentally, the most fun part, because like I said, I don't care what the house. I know what the house looks like. I literally know what the houses look like that are an hour and a half away, better than people that live like probably 10 minutes from there do.
Yeah.
Because we hire the right people to do the job. We trust them to do it. And yeah, they screw it up. And yeah, they're sometimes slower than they should be. And sometimes they say stuff's more done than it should be. Yeah, who cares? Send me a picture. Oh, well, what about this? Oh, this piece of the picture. Like, what's going on here? Like, oh, my bad. I didn't get to such and such. Oh, okay. Well, get to it. Like, it's not hard, right? The project management's easy.
Yeah.
It's the getting the deal. It's the building the business. Probably the same thing in your business in construction and your flipping business too, is you can still get off on having a nice product and on the building process, but the hardest part is getting the deal.
Yeah, getting deals in a competitive marketplace. So there's most definitely value in the single family flipping market here in DFW. Like you said, there's people screwing up the market left, right, and center. people buying shit that's not worth what they buy it for, but whatever. Getting the deal is absolutely that's the toughest part. If you were giving someone advice, they were like, "Man, I like what you're doing. I want you to be my mentor. I see what you do. I see what you put online. I like your brand. What is it? REIAF is badass." What would you say to them? Would you say, you know what? And they said, I want to flip single family residential. Where do I need to start? Would you say, go be a wholesaler? Because you're going to learn how to value stuff, how to sell stuff, how to talk to people, how to follow up, how to grind.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I'm going to ask them, what value are they trying to bring to the equation in their life so that they can go be more successful? Because they're asking me for a bunch of favors. They're asking me to tell them where to go. And I'm asking them, what value do you bring?
They're asking you for the cheat codes.
Yeah. And the answer is there's not a cheat code. There's hard work and there's doing it. And if your mindset is one of going back to the business building side, I think if your mindset is one of, I need someone to help me and I need a coach and a mentor to help me for free or for whatever, then you got a broken mindset. Your mindset is, what do I bring to someone like you or like me? What does an acquisitions guy or one of our employees, what do they bring to the table that makes the organization better? What does a new wholesaler bring to the seller that takes them out of a position that they put themselves in generally, that makes their life better? And then what value do they bring to an end buyer once they have a product under contract or once they've completed a renovation? Oh, but I just love the paint colors and the base trim colors. Look, if you love that, go be a high-end GC.
Yeah.
And work first of all, work for someone that knows what the hell they're doing.
Right.
But go be a high-end GC in North Dallas and help people pick out base trim and paint colors all day long. Some people love that. And you can make a ton of money doing that.
Have fun.
Yeah, have fun. So, again, I'm going to ask that guy, what value are you trying to bring and who are you trying to bring the value to? You're asking me personally for a lot of directions on where to go. I'm going to say, you know what? Go online and look, because it's all out there and you can figure it out. Step one is find a deal. How do I find a deal? Well, that's a good question. That's the hardest part of my business. Come on and join the business for a while. Let's figure it out.
There you go. Yeah. That's the first question everybody asks me. Well, where do I find the deal?
Mm-hmm.
How do you find your deals? So I was like, well, I have my ways. What am I going to do? Give you? So actually, a lot of times those guys do turn into guys who work with me.
100%.
Because they want to know how we find what we find. So this is what we do.
Yeah, and it's not about being limiting on our side. It's about valuing our experiences
For sure.
more than and valuing the other person to allow them to either join a process or work their butt off and figure it out. Most, like you were talking a little while ago about mentors. Most successful people follow patterns that are successful, and they figure out how to do that either through a direct mentorship or by like looking at stuff that's working and then doing it.
Or finding an anti-mentor, like someone who's like, everything that guy did, I'm doing the opposite of. I had the dude from Pickle Juice Sport on, and he said that was his mentor.
Hate's a good motivation if you use it right.
Yeah, his mentor was this guy who he did the opposite of everything this guy did, because everything that guy did just turned to absolute acid. And that's
Ouch. What was that guy doing?
I don't know, man. Not treating people well.
Yeah.
Like doing stupid stuff. Like he said, one example he said was like, hey, we got a meeting. We got a corporate account at these 2 hotels. And this guy would book the hotel, not that was like 3 minutes from this dude's house, but the one that was like 45 minutes away for no reason except just to be a dick. And that's no way to endear yourself to your people. I'm not saying that you. No. I'm not saying you are just a welcome mat for your people. That's not what a good leader is made of. You got to be strong and take charge and all of that. But your people do better when they know you care.
Oh yeah, definitely. No.
Do you consider yourself a mentor to a lot of the people who work with you, for you?
I think a collaborator.
There you go.
I think is a good way of looking at it. The best guy on the team, I don't necessarily want them to go leave and go build their own company.
Yeah.
But I think you're always a little piecey. Is like, well, if they're successful, that's a lot of because of what they learned and what they did here. So I think that's maybe I'm not in the mentorship business any more than I'm in the charity business.
Right.
I'm all about giving to charity, and that's a huge value of our business. But we're not going to bring someone on as a charitable act because that's not the business model.
Are you training them so well that they could leave, but you're treating them so well they don't want to?
I think that's a good mindset.
Are you
Yeah,
okay?
I think
because
that's a good
that's what I
mindset.
do. I'm not over here with the magician doing tricks over here that you can't see to try to limit your success. I have no interest in that. I wouldn't be doing this if that's diabolical and
No, that's
ridiculous
mischievous. That's a
anyways.
little dictatorial. And I think,
Let's get you as successful as you can be.
Absolutely.
Because if you're rocking and rolling, I'm rocking and rolling. That's what we're trying to do here.
yeah, I don't think you want to govern through fear.
We all win when we all win.
Right. And there needs to be obviously goalposts and expectations along the way. I think that's huge. If there's a learning
Mile markers.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If there's a learning experience, it needs to be, well, what did we actually learn from it? And now how are we going to develop ourselves better through that experience? As opposed to, keep talking about people posting, oh, I had a learning experience. Well, what'd you learn? Well, I lost money. Well, you learned that you didn't like losing money? I mean, you could have just given it to me. I would have told you that.
Right.
So-
Try me a check.
Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. Have tangible goalpost objectives that you should meet. And I think one of those is definitely build up people in order to give them the opportunity to be better than who they are. And, if they leave, that's fine. It's a big market. Look, DFW is a huge market, right?
Huge.
7 million people.
And going to be way huger
Yeah.
soon.
So
Huger?
more
Word?
huger.
More huger.
You're never going to replicate yourself. So helping someone be who they want to be doesn't hurt you. And if you got a little bitty market or something, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's competition out there. But the amount of competition in some place the size of DFW is more a sign of a healthy market than it is a sign of limiting possibilities.
For sure. If somebody was just trying to get into the flipping business, what would you say? What advice would you give them about not buying into all of these gurus and these programs? And this
Absolutely.
I mean,
Swipe up and join my guru program. In the comments below, we'll put a link to my.
Thank you. Awesome. Do you have a yellow Lambo?
I need no. How's the yellow Lambo guy doing?
I don't know. I refer to him a lot.
I'd like to. I want an Audi R8, not a Lambo. It's got the Audi reliability, but not the Lambo problems.
Gotcha.
And I think Lambos are a little overdone. If you're buying a Lambo because you want a Lambo, I think that's awesome. If you're buying a Lambo because you want to impress someone or raise money, I think you're doing it wrong.
Well, Lambos get chicks, so
I already got a wife, so I mean, that's
There you
cool.
go.
If I want
Yeah.
chicks, I can go up to 35. There's plenty of opportunities.
my God.
Uh,
Anthony Jeselnik, everybody. Welcome him to the program.
What was the question? The guru. So I think
Yeah, I mean,
I
there's a
think
lot
there's-
of those guys out there who will take your, I don't know,
I think there's
$4.99.99 a month.
I think there's a lot of value to a high level mentorship program. Like, for example, I'm part of. Actually, we talked about it before the thing.
Yeah.
I'm part of Investor Fuel. The other big one in real estate is Collective Genius. Huge. A lot of value there. What I've gotten out of it isn't so much tangible in terms of I'll do this and get this result, and that's not replicatable across different markets necessarily. It's kind of mimicable. But what I've gotten is a huge change in mindset about, wow, look at that guy. I thought I was a baller, right? I thought I'm making whatever I'm making a month. Look at that guy. He's doing all this other stuff. That's awesome. That's really working. Let's take little pieces of that and apply that to my business. There's a good value to that, and I think there's a good benefit to paying for that, to being in the same room with a lot of like-minded folks. Consequently, also, you can look at someone else in the same thing and be like, well, look at how stressed that guy is. He's spending all this money on marketing. He's stressed out his ass. His operations are complete crap. God, I don't want to do that. Like, he's not a bad dude. Like, I don't want to do that. So I think there's a huge benefit to that. Now, obviously, the negative benefit to the kind of guru space is gurus like just the big national ones that they just want to sell a big product that's high ticket without the individual touch to it. I think in order to be successful, your likelihood of success is a lot higher when you surround yourself with successful people, and if you decide to pay for a mentorship kind of thing, that mentor should probably be acquainted with your market and with what's working in your market, because what works in Dallas probably works to a certain extent in San Diego, but I guarantee they're very different markets.
Yeah.
So I'm not I think I don't even know what guru means.
I don't either.
I'm not anti-education. I'm not anti-paying for access or paying for stuff because again, my time's valuable. And to answer your question again about someone coming up to me and asking for their first step in the right direction, yeah, I'll give them some pointers, but I'm not gonna. I don't take coffee with people because I just don't have time. An hour that it takes me to go have coffee with someone. I'm gonna have coffee with someone like you, but someone's like, "Oh, dude, let me buy you coffee."
No.
Like that's an hour that I could be doing operations. It's an hour I could be driving properties that I own. That's an hour that I could be spending time with my family on the driving range, working out. That's an hour away from something that I actually want to do. Where again, you're not bringing me any value. So why? No offense, but why should I reciprocate, or why should I not reciprocate, and why should I try to give you value just because you're asking for it?
Yeah.
Why? I think it boosts your ego. Look at this guy coming to me for advice. That's awesome. But the likelihood of them being successful because they had 2 hours worth of coffee with you, not that high.
Not that high. One thing a lot of gurus tell a lot of young, impressionable dudes is you got to have multiple streams of income.
That's complete crap.
So shed some light on that because, yeah, I just put a thing on my Instagram story, Ed Milet talking about how that's a bunch of crap. And I talked to a bunch of other guys too, all way more successful than me about this and about how they talk to their guys.
The
about
average millionaire
that's a bunch
has
of crap.
7, 9, 10, 12 different streams of income. Shut up. No, they don't.
Well,
They got like one primary one, and they got a bunch of other little bitty ones. But
isn't it about getting so good at something that maybe you're the best or one of the best, so you excel, and then you... I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. But.
No, I completely agree. And it's interesting. Like, there's so much just fake news and bad information out there about, oh, I need 12 different streams of income. I'm going to go invest in stocks and Bitcoin and construction and build this and that. And I have 15 different companies. Motherfucker. Like, good for you. That's awesome. How are any of them doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, I don't know. They're about to take off. Yeah, I bet they are. You want to walk out of the hospital on New Year's Eve? You got one job. It's to walk.
Yeah.
You want to build a construction company? You got one job. It's build a construction company. Once you get, I don't even know, $10 million, $20 million, then yeah, go invest in some other stuff. Go and invest in some apartments and go invest in some other stuff.
Where you can put a staff in place,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
delegate everything.
Invest in building your business.
Yeah.
If you want to be a passive investor, then yeah, you probably ought to, buy stocks, buy some mutual funds. When stuff goes down, dollar cost average it and go retire at 65 and have some good money. But if you want to be really successful in what you're doing, focus on what brings you the most success with the least effort, and honestly, kind of the quickest. You want long-term, obviously you have long-term objectives too that need to pan out, but what's going to have the largest impact on driving what my ultimate goal is immediately? And it's not by going and searching out a bunch of different stuff out there and being mediocre at all of them. It's about if money is your motivating goal, if success and accomplishment is your motivating goal, and that's different than money, but it's tangibly easy to think about. It's let's build this one thing that I'm really good at, and then maybe let's add on something that's kind of related to that.
Yeah. That's parallel.
Yeah.
Parallel verticals. How important is it to you, this business or businesses that you're building, this financial freedom that you're trying to establish for yourself, buying back your time? So you've talked about your interests. How important are those interests to you living a balanced life? Golf, working out, family.
It's interesting. We try to divorce ourselves from different aspects of our life, like somehow they're different. Working out is going to take away time from your business. Golf, we had an acquisitions person that came on, and I mentioned, like, my motivation, I want to go play golf more. It's like a throwaway line. She's like, man, I just don't have time for that kind of stuff. She didn't work out because she didn't have the right mindset. We try to take all these different pieces of our life and pretend that they're somehow not interrelated.
It's a wheel.
Right. Oh, I'm just going to focus on arms day and not do chest day.
Yeah.
Well, good luck lifting shit if your chest don't work.
Yeah.
Or the other way around.
If there's a spoke out of alignment,
yeah,
you're fucked.
Absolutely. So it doesn't mean that one should, well, if you're a pro golfer, you should probably focus on golf, right? I mean, let's be honest. But all this stuff feeds on itself. So if you're just working your ass off 25/8, like I like to say,
Yeah.
You bump into realtors like, man, I work 25/8. I don't even work 25/7. If someone calls me at 11 o'clock at night, I'm there because they might need me to list their house right now. Like, you're just about to take on the most pain in the ass client you've ever had to deal with, and you've set the wrong expectation on the front end. If someone calls me at 11 o'clock at night, unless their house is burning down or unless there's an immediate need, I'm not taking your call. Because why? Unless you're a good friend of mine, sure. So set the expectation on the front end. So for me, it's not so much about buying back my time. It's about living a life that has certain outcomes, certain consequence to other people in it. And the way you do that is, it's not really about a balanced life. It's more about having different pieces that contribute to the lifestyle that you want to have.
Sure.
So if you
work, result.
If you work, result oriented.
Your life philosophy.
I notice if I work out more, play more golf, and ride my bike more, mountain biking in the snow or whatever, I'm a lot more likely to have a clear head on coming into business and accomplishing stuff. Just because you're sitting at the desk for 8 hours doesn't mean you're getting shit done. Sometimes you're sitting there for 4 hours going, man, my brain's not working today. I got to get out and clear some stuff up. And let's erase some stuff. Let's get some stuff out of there. Let's go hit the gym again or whatever and figure out what I'm not able to focus on.
Are these lessons that you learned through trial and error, or have you always been this way? For me, used to be, you call me at 11 o'clock, I will be there. Mm-hmm. We will do this. And I don't care if you're a pain in the ass client. I'm such a hustler. I'm closing every deal. Yeah. Don't do that anymore because I learned that at a certain point you have to set boundaries.
Right. Now, a caveat is if I had a plumbing company or an HVAC company and we were in a service industry, that would be
water mitigation company
in Dallas right now. Yeah, absolutely. Hustle and get the job. Like,
100%.
I'm not saying don't hustle. I'm saying make sure your hustle contributes to what you want to actually accomplish. And if a big part of your business is immediate reaction to something, a plumbing company, even right now, if there's not busted pipes, you get a stopped up toilet at 10 o'clock, you're going to make more money if you got a tech that can go out at 10 o'clock. So, but are you the one going out doing that yourself? And there's nothing wrong with it if you are. But if you have the company mindset of allow this guy that you're now going to overpay double, triple overtime, whatever, to go out and do this thing that's a 15-minute job, and brings value to the homeowner and brings value to the company, and you're still hanging out in bed with your wife.
Yeah.
That's where actual freedom is. Because now you're facilitating a whole string of events that are a successful outcome.
No, definitely, man. We have a lot of synergy. If people who watch this podcast want to get in touch with you, or they want you to mentor them,
I don't know about the second one.
Or they want to come work with you or for you, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really easy to find me. Find me on Facebook, TJ Kosen. I'm sure there's going to be links in the thing below.
Yeah.
I am on Instagram. Again, TJ Kosen on Instagram. And that's pretty much it.
You got an email?
Yeah. No, tj.kosen@gmail. Pretty creative guy here. Changing up a lot of stuff. Anyway, we work in DFW, so our main business is buying and selling distressed single-family real estate. The core part of the business is the direct-to-seller market, so buying stuff off-market from our own marketing, from wholesalers, from we haven't bought anything off the MLS for a while. It's a fun business, so anyone that actually wants quick advice, a quick phone call, I'm always down for that. Again, you want 2 hours worth of coffee? Probably not the right guy for that, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
That was awesome. I hope you enjoyed that. TJ's a great dude, very dry. I must say, high energy as well. I hope you did enjoy that. I'd love to know what you guys think about these podcasts. I mean, I do them for my own health. This is for sure just a hobby. Although I hope somebody's watching out there. I'd love to know what you think. Drop a comment below. Hit me up on Instagram at Jess from the Northwest. If you ever want to work together or come work with us at Autograph, you can always shoot me an email live at autographconstruction.com. We'll see you all next time.